We have curated a Fireside chat session, of course, which will involve our leaderships from both the sides. It's going to be an amazing opportunity for all of us to gain insights from them and also understand, what they have to share with respect to not just generative AI, but also, let's say, the challenges, the opportunities. There are many questions. These are some of the questions that we have seen people have come up with, and hence we decided that yes, they should be included, and let's hear the perspectives from both the sides. Jen and Paritosh to please join us here. The session would be moderated by Triveni. Amar, if you please, and Harsh.
Okay, now we have established the fact that GenAI is going to be here, we are going to live with it, that's going to transform our lives in a very big way. Thank you for that. It's been a great evening. Thank you, Paramita. So, as a practitioner of ServiceNow, I always believe that agent productivity, developer productivity is the areas where customers are looking at, and but then you busted my bubble saying that creator and creator plus ITSM is the biggest hot-selling product in the market right now. So having said that, establishing that, I'd like to ask LTIMindtree team leadership that having these conversations with the customers day in and day out, what are they asking?
Good. So Triveni, honestly, customers have been very apprehensive 3 quarters ago on GenAI. They wanted to wait and watch. But very soon they realized that GenAI is here to stay. And we as true consultants for customers, we motivated them, encouraged them to explore the art of possible. We gave them use cases, and we also gave them some amount of financial return on investments that they would get out of GenAI. And then we were successfully able to move a lot of our customers who were apprehensive about whether this is the right time to do GenAI to the stage where they are today negotiating with ServiceNow on GenAI licenses. So that's been the transformation. And of course, the biggest areas that we were focused on is more from our customers being able to deliver better to their customers. Thereby, the focus was on customer service and ITSM and all of agent productivity kind of stuff, right? And that was real. Customers were able to see hard dollar savings, and that's what resulted in us creating a model on self-funded GenAI initiatives. So you save on the op cost, then fund it into new projects, furthering the investments in GenAI. So today customers are really keen, and with the Xanadu release, it's really made possible for us to try out GenAI for a limited set of seats as opposed to the entire install base, and that's a big relief for we as a system integrator as well as the customers. So it's a great move. Thanks to ServiceNow for acknowledging the feedback from all the parties and making it happen.
Thank you, Amar, on that. So we have heard about Now Assist in ITSM or probably HRSD as well. But what beyond Now Assist in GenAI capabilities of ServiceNow, right? So the horizontal solutions that we are having, are we trying to verticalize those solutions, bring in, what is your thoughts on that?
Is the question more along the lines of the future, kind of what can we expect next? Yeah, I mean, so we just launched with Xanadu multiple of the industry verticals, Now Assist for FSM, Now Assist for TMT, and there's 2 more. I would need it. Yeah, I think HCS is one of them, yeah. Well, I need the slides to remind me because it changes so frequently. So I think those are coming. I would expect that every single product will have Now Assist. That directionally, we'll go back to the words table stakes. That's directionally where we'll be. But short term, I think it's important to note the workflow data fabric. Akash kind of touched on it when he talked about RaptorDB. CMDB health is going to be important, and then specifically, this ability to have, data, AI, and automation. So, and the workflow data fabric is going to be the big piece of it, and then the agents. And then what will come after the out-of-the-box agents will be custom agents, your ability to customize your own agents, and then the agentic AI. So I think future-looking, all the verticals will have it. all the products would eventually have it, and then short-term workflow data fabric and agents, agentic AI.
Thank you. So, what is the strategy for the small language models for the service?
So, you all understand what is the difference between SLM and LLM? Okay. When you're dealing with petabytes of data, that is what product companies usually operate on. And that's what we have used to create something called as large language models, which are reliant upon extensive and excessive amount of information. You create prompts running on that data to feed back the outcome to you. So let's say when you're using ChatGPT, that is using OpenAI, right, in the backend. OpenAI is a LLM. Now they are not industry specific, they are not contextualized, always, right? That is why you can't use OpenAI in the enterprise space. It is not very successful. There is a term associated when you're using GenAI, it is called as hallucinations. When you're using GenAI, you get a lot of hallucinations, which is inaccurate or not very usable information that you get out of it. Hence, to solve that problem, what companies are doing is they are creating a combination of something called as SLM plus LLM. Now, what are these SLM? SLMs are small language models which even partners like yourself have started to build, which could be industry centric, which could be domain specialized. They do not feed on extensive amount of information, but they do deal on contextualized information, or the data is the term I want to use. So ServiceNow strategy has been simple. We want to provide you contextualized solution, but at the same time, great amount of flexibility. So currently, we are using roughly 4 to 5 SLM plus LLM combination, of which I believe there are 3 are LLMs and then 2 are SLMs. Then you have the option to bring your own model. You can bring in OpenAI or anything else for that matter. Now our strategy and ask of our partners is also very clear. I'll continue on what Jen started. What is ServiceNow strategy analysis? It is fairly straightforward. We will continue to evolve what we have traditionally done, making customers' life simple. We will also invest in industry solution, but we will never get to the level of depth at which you all are. You are structured vertically. You have deep tech expertise in that space. So we are expecting a lot of partners like yourself to create your own domain-centric SLMs, bring that and attach that to our LLM that we are offering, and then provide that value back to the customer. That is going to be the winning combination we are banking on. And to Jen or even Bill's statement that partners will be the delivering arm, will be the front, right and center of GenAI, that is how it's going to happen in the very near future. So that's how we are perceiving at it.
Thank you, Perry.
So let me add to Paritosh, and I think this is exactly what our enterprise AI team within LTIMindtree is up to, right? So leveraging the combination of available LLMs and bringing together industry specific. For example, supply chain in itself could be a LLM, but supply chain within manufacturing or within retail is the SLM that the team is trying to build. So there's a lot happening, and I think with bring your own LLMs, I think we're going to make this expectation reality pretty soon. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I was just about to ask with this, how is LTIM going to leap into this with Gen AI, all of that they've said, how are we going to be there and, raise ourselves up, and what is our vision there?
I'll ask Harsh to answer this.
See, first of all, I'll answer it from 2 different dimensions. The dimension one is, as Amar has already highlighted, we want to capitalize on what our product companies like ServiceNow are offering and build our specialized things on top of it. Smart Underwriter is a classic example. Leveraging what's available with ServiceNow and building more industry-specific solutions. We also have our own AI platform, what we go by name Canvas.ai. Now I see an immense possibility, which is already in the works, which is going to coexist, very similar to what we saw of creating custom skills on top of it. We are creating something called as knowledge fabric, and I see that is going to have data coming out from multiple systems, including ServiceNow. How it would sit on top of ServiceNow to create that custom skill and still give a seamless experience to the people will be an important area. The third sub-dimension to it, which is more like a horizontal, is the people part of it. Skill building is an important area. Overall, as a company, we are kind of Gen AI first. We have seen so much of efforts being done to have almost every individual being in there. And same is the case in our ServiceNow practice, where we are spending too much energy to make sure that everybody has been into the Gen AI space. Amarnath, in case you want to add something.
Sure, I think with our own internal implementation of ServiceNow, we're using it on the core business of IT and HR, but I think there is procurement, there is finance, and there's a ton of other aspects to our business functions. And our enterprise AI team is today working on use cases that can be deployed on Canvas, cutting across HR, cutting across finance, cutting across legal, right? And this collaboration that we've established with our enterprise AI to use ServiceNow as the default platform of choice to realize these use cases is one of the important steps in our journey together with ServiceNow on showcasing the art of possible and making things real for customers. Customers who are using today ServiceNow for traditional areas will be compelled to look at ServiceNow as a homogeneous platform for areas outside of IT, outside of HR. That's what we're looking at.
Thank you, Amar. That shows us some light into how we were bringing in synergies between our own products like Canvas AI and ServiceNow Gen AI capability. Thank you for that. So, question to ServiceNow team. In the knowledge we have seen about integrating ServiceNow Gen AI capabilities with other products like Copilot, as Harsh mentioned a while ago. Now Copilot and teams coming into the picture. ServiceNow, what ServiceNow strategy is going to be? Are we going to be the system of engagement there, or how do you think this is going to span out for the users?
Why don't I start?
Sure,
And then
go
you
for
do
it,
the,
please.
yeah, and then Stuart, if you have anything to pile on. So, I think you have to know is that the Microsoft partnership is quite possibly the most strategic partnership ServiceNow has, and it's very large in 360. So there is no intention of being the system of engagement. It's really about more channels to bring users into leveraging the ServiceNow platform. It's really about exponential growth through new channels, and that is the strategic direction of the Copilot partnership, but I'll let Perry add any other context.
Sure, thank you, Jess. You remember the three terms that we used for defining how Gen AI is perceived by ServiceNow? One was data. Yes, automation. Now, in context of enterprises, what is the source of engagement data? It is usually Microsoft Teams, Outlook, yeah, or your Excel's, PowerPoints, Word document, SharePoint, whatnot. It is basically Microsoft has a major leverage in that space of providing that enterprise data. So we are collaborating with the likes of Microsoft to get that access. Not the end customer data, which is confidential, but that source or that engagement layer will still continue to be with Microsoft. Our job is to get contextualized data so that we are not wasting our model's effort on unnecessary and unusable information. That is what we will continue to focus on by investing more into that Microsoft partnership so that the co-pilots of the world are using that enterprise specific data that is getting fed into our systems to generate the right outcome or solution. That is a very simple approach. Do not want any of you to get confused that we're going to get into the engagement layer. We are in the engagement layer, but in collaboration to ease out how each of those engagements happen with the end customers. That is what the play is. Stuart, I'm not sure if you want to add anything.
I think you added everything that I was just thinking about. Actually, I was talking to another partner last night, and we were talking about this very subject, and they were saying, you know, this flexibility in the platform just allows you to contextualize, bring in contextual answers into everything that you do. So whether you're using our language models or you're integrating to Copilot, it really doesn't matter to us because we can integrate to all of them in the same instance. But it is just bringing that, you know, the most expert and precise answer back to the user that is key. And in that respect, contextualization is the key thing for us.
Thank you, team. That was great insights for us to know. Anything you want to add?
I think, very valuable insights, great sessions so far, and these were really good questions. I think, team, I hope you were able to clear some of your prominent doubts around AI and how ServiceNow and LTIM are taking this journey forward together. Any questions, please let us know.
I actually have a question for the audience, first of all. Our partners are critical to us, and without you, we wouldn't get half the number of customers live that we get live today. Would anyone like to guess how many partner-led go-lives that we see every week of the year? Anyone like to have a guess? How many go-live cakes are eaten every week?
Should we give a swag? Wait, we have extra swag.
Swag?
Do we have extra swag?
Oh, we have some swag, okay.
All right, now we're making it real.
Okay, this year, how many go-lives each week are brought to us by partners? Each week.
Say it louder, what?
20?
40?
40?
1,000?
1,000? Yeah, that is our dream, yes.
80?
200?
280.
80?
250. It sounds like an auction.
Just a guess, random guess.
Okay. 70, I think. I think
100.
Sorry?
Approx 100.
Approximately 100? Very good. Okay, the actual answer, and I think you win the swag. This year is 122 go lives a week. There we go. Congratulations.
Maybe this is a little tricky, but we did see ServiceNow and Microsoft partnership, right, at a strategic level. Recently, we did see the Snowflake Workflow Data Fabric coming in. Now, I can imagine in terms of system of engagement, then in terms of system of record, right? Any other, I don't know the names, but what is the strategy ahead in terms of partnership with such similar technology vendors, right? And what are the white spaces or areas that ServiceNow is looking for so that we get ourselves ready from a partner perspective?
I'm not going to answer that head on, but I will say, we're known in the market and in the industry for having invested, the bulk of our innovation has grown from within. And what little bit of acquisitions and M&A we've done have been small and has been, technology brought in, re-platformed on ServiceNow. And I think that, we're not going to be, and I'll just name it, we're not going to be a Salesforce. We're going to go and acquire billion-dollar Slack companies and billion-dollar MuleSoft companies. But I will say that I think that the future, likely involves a little bit more M&A, and I'll leave it at that. You can take a stab at what you think that might be, but we're definitely in the next stage of hypergrowth. I think at this point, Bill, $30 billion was put in front of the board, and I think the years are not that far out, and so I think we're definitely at exponential growth, and we're definitely trying to figure out what the right partnerships are. And actually, I think it's worth noting, when you see Bill on the news, like when we have earnings and he talks to C-SPAN, he's constantly naming big names as strategic partnerships. And I think one of our superpowers is being more of a collaborative organization than a conflicting organization. I think that will still be the backbone of how we go to market. Our internal mantra is to be hungry and humble. It's been that way since Fred Luddy started the company, to be hungry and humble. And I believe when Bill goes out publicly and builds collaborations and partnerships, I believe hungry and humble stays true to his approach. So that was a vague answer, but deliberately, and I think that was the right thing. I'll see if anyone else wants to add.
I'll add a little bit more to it. Jen, you perfectly summarized actually. You would have recently heard about our partnership with Snowflake. Yeah, that is one. So we are not restricting ourselves to just product companies or OEMs. We are also partnering with customers. I'm not sure how many of you read it, but we have partnered with, let's say, BT also, in terms of building GenAI for comms industry per se, let's say. So you will see a lot of such partnerships coming up. May not be from an M&A perspective, but from domain expertise, or somewhere in your stack or your ecosystem of your platform layer or application layer or infrastructure layer underlying, how do you transform that overall experience? You will see a lot of partnerships coming up in that space. But at the same time, within the product standpoint, we will continue to expand into generating outcomes faster and creating access to information and data superior. I'll take one very quick example. I've prefaced it enough that GenAI is solely reliant on access to data. In enterprise context, where does the data sit? With ERPs and CRMs, yeah? They make it very hard for anybody or everybody to access the data that is sitting in there. They could not evolve their solutions over the years, so the only thing that they did was made it from on-premise to cloud. Now how they are making money right now is by those access points, the number of times you access or the data that you take out of it. Yeah, that would create exorbitant cost in the context of GenAI, where the access is so large and the data volume is so massive. So we acquired this company in I think earlier in 2024. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the company, but what it essentially does is it does indexing of the data for you and then brings it back to the platform. So you will see such acquisitions every now and then, probably on a monthly basis or even more frequently than that. We will continue to merge those companies, rebake that into our platform, will continue to be the approach. So we are not shying away from it. We will acquire a lot of those smaller solution-based companies who are providing a specific value beyond those larger partnerships across product and industries. So
Thank you. Good evening to everyone. I'm a little curious to know, it's not just a question. In the last decade, we have seen technologies like blockchain, RPA, we have seen metaverse and AI, which is real. This can be monetized. We can bring it down to the clients. What's next big buzzword that we can listen up, that we think can change, bring in more business or elevate the customer experience? I want to hear the leaders. What's next for us?
I think so. One you heard today, the collaboration with multiple AI products, which is agent-based AI, that's what we are talking about. Because the first, I would say, avalanche was about getting humans to talk to the AI agent, and they're doing a lot of stuff. Now it is an age where they will start collaborating and looking as part of it. From where we are standing, I can definitely see there will be two important streams that would come up in the next few years from GenAI adoption. It would definitely be how you still do it more securely when the data will start happening between the platforms, across the federated Google platforms, across the search engines. That would be one big area. The second has already started happening. Every customer today is saying, okay, what is going to be my platform for GenAI beyond, of course, the LLMs? How am I going to secure them? How is going to be my security posture going to look like? So that has already started becoming the next big stream. So I can say all of those collaborated are going to be the next big things beyond the adoption.
And just adding to that, I think it's a question that a lot of the customers ask us, which is how ethical is AI still? You know, people can type in any question, and you're trusting the AI agent to provide an answer that the agent's going to give back to someone who could act upon it. So there's still a lot of work to do yet around ethical AI, all the privacy pieces and things like that. And then in the US, up until yesterday, there was a lot of work being done around green AI. And I'm not sure how that's going to progress right now. But certainly, installing trust in AI is still a challenge that we meet in every customer conversation. So there's a lot of work that we have to do around that still.
If you're looking for a buzzword, then agentic AI would be the buzzword for next decade, wherein those agents talk to each other. Are you any Iron Man fans here? Yeah? Everybody. You know Jarvis, right? You know what Jarvis was. That's exactly what is a reality now. It's no longer that science fiction concept wherein you don't even need to ask for something. The agent will create a prompt to another agent, and another agent will fetch you what you need and then provide it back, and then it will be made available to the end user without even prompting for it. That is the power of agentic AI, and I personally believe for the next 10 years, that will be the buzzword. That really will be the buzzword.
And there is a movie made on this very concept. It's called Afraid, with AI italicized. Look up the trailer and then I'm sure you'll catch interest in watching the movie. So it does exactly the same thing, right? It just listens through your conversations in the home and start recommending things that you should be doing, right? So watch it up. It's on the scary side, but there's a lot of positivity if you use it rightly. So that's where the whole ethical AI concept that Stuart mentioned really comes into the picture. So technology, do it right, it'll do wonders. But then the power of what AI or agentic AI can do is something that you can really witness in that movie.
I think so. He has one more question.
I actually was just gonna, do you mind if I say one thing? Because everyone gave a kind of a technology approach, but when you asked the question, what actually came to mind for me was what we as humans crave. And what we crave is speed. I feel like we've become a very impatient world and society. And I think I look back at like some key moments, like when Amazon started delivering anything you need to your doorstep in 24 hours. Or I want to change the reporting lines of Perry to somebody else in a matter of minutes, and it doesn't take me 60 minutes, it's like 5 minutes, right? This speed that's coming, just so you know, I'm totally joking. This speed of delivering anything you want in the world, and I think it ties back to agentic AI actually. I think humans crave speed, our customers crave speed, speed of delivery, speed of access, speed of information, and that's, I think, directionally, especially post-COVID, I've never felt it more in my life. And it's like AI is literally fueling it. It's almost scary. Actually, it goes back to maybe it's a little scary, but I think that's what we crave, and therefore agentic AI will deliver it.
Thank you so very much for the answer. Just one appended question, if I may have the permission. When we talk about agentic AI, have we set ourselves any guardrails? Because we want the technology to be non-invasive in some manner. Is there a possibility that we have set ourselves a guardrail within the purview within which we are not be operating? Have we set any limitation?
Yeah, I'll just maybe say briefly that when we first launch the agents and then agentic AI, it will be out of the box, which will give it guardrails naturally. And I think until we feel comfortable and confident that we could have responsible agentic AI, we probably wouldn't allow it to be customizable. So I think we will start with guardrails, and then I think we'll let the R&D team decide what comes from there.
See, the more techno-centric answer for this would be any company who's getting onto the Gen AI journey. The first thing that they are devising is the data privacy policy, which is important from Gen AI. Every product that is coming up is looking at how they are reading the data, what they are reading as data, how are they aligning opportunities, which is more like the most critical thing of what customer will allow them to read. You got a very good example about the co-pilot thing. Now, when you look at a co-pilot, it's based on the same permission sets that you apply to your data, whether it's on an Outlook or a SharePoint or others. Now, when ServiceNow collaborates with it, it uses the same kind of a guardrails to make sure you're not doing something that is going to get into that way. So it's still progressive, but I feel the intention and the guardrails are being set to this ever progressive technology to happen. Today, it's no more a debate whether GenAI will happen or not. It is the new USB 3.2 or everything else that's happening. So it's all about how we mature faster, how we become better. There might be errors, there will be errors, but I think so we, as countries, as organizations, as human beings will continue to adopt as part of it. Look at what happened with 5G. Even the person sitting in the remotest part of the world now knows how to play a YouTube, right? It's no more a thing that any IT guys needed. Believe me, GenAI is going to be the next thing like that.
Thank you. Thank you, leaders. I think it was an exceptionally insightful as well as knowledgeable session. For me, from being afraid to finding a solution, everything was part of this fireside chat. So absolutely, thank you very much for sharing the insights with us.